What's going on, guys? Justin, can you hear me? Oh, let me add you in. Sorry. That's on me. Sorry, Justin. Hello, everyone. Sorry. Can you hear me now, Justin?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah, I just I tried to start it from my other phone and then use this one and then yeah. So yeah,
Hey, we up and running
we
though.
are though. Perfect. So this is great. Awesome. This is let a few more people come in. I know it's only 1 minute past, and then yeah, we'll get started, man. We'll just rock it until whenever Mimi gets here.
Cool, take your time. We ain't
Look,
well, I'm gonna say I'm not in a rush, even though I'm just about to get home.
look,
But yeah, we were off last week. Now we back.
yeah, look,
Like
look. This is the week we got to crank because this is it's a lot.
a lot been going down, man. Sometimes
Yeah,
it's good to have like the all right, we couldn't go every week. We could do like a week off, and now it's like, oh, we got a lot to talk about.
yeah. Look, right when we thought, okay, yeah, well, we'll pick up next week. No, it's a lot to pick up.
And perfect timing because I ain't gonna lie, like maybe a little bit feels this way to me because I'm
Hmm.
not actually attending Mania this year, but it felt like this build has been kind of lackluster. And then like the last 2 weeks, kind of like you thought foot on gas is like, oh, now it feels like Mania season.
You know what? Let's just start there because we can start now. So that's where we were, Justin. And once again, appreciate everybody coming in. Welcome to Turnbuckle Talk. By the way, I'm Corey. That's Justin. You all know who you are. We are if you've been here, obviously. Mimi will be joining us at some point, but we about to rock it now. Let's start there, Justin. So, with that being said, you know what it kind of felt like to me? It kind of felt like yes, they went overseas for the 3 weeks they were over there and they kept things consistent, but it almost feels like they literally flipped the switch as soon as they got back to the States, or at least a week before they got back to the States, because that's when Cody and Cena started to heat up, and that's when Roman, Seth, and Punk heated up. Was that last week before they came back? And now it just feels like everything's rolling now.
Yeah, because it kind of felt like going into the European tour, they were kind of like, just wait, just wait. You know you want Cena, but just wait. We're not giving you Cena yet. Just wait, just wait. We're not giving you Roman yet. Just wait. And now, like the last 2 weeks is like, all right, now we're really rocking and rolling to where like multiple feuds have like a lot of juice. There's one in particular that I'm really disappointed in, and
Yeah.
hopefully the match just over delivers to make up for it. But yeah, like I was just like, I don't know if it's because like something's been off on this belt, or maybe because I'm not going, so I'm kind of not looking at it with that same anticipation of like if I was going versus just watching from home.
Right, exactly. And Mimi, I'm trying to add you in, but don't worry, I'm about to do that now. um, but yeah, oh, did it go? Okay. Okay. I don't know why I did it like that, but
I don't know,
nonetheless,
but I got
yeah,
it.
she's here. I tried to add her in as the other co-host, but it wasn't letting me. I don't know
Hi
why.
guys, I'm so
Hey,
sorry. I'm so late. I'm so sorry.
no, you're good. I don't know, I tried to co-host you, but it wouldn't let me, and I don't know why.
I think you're only allowed two.
Is it okay?
I
But
think. I think.
okay, well, oh, the hosting to okay, yeah, Doug, because you're usually on your handle. By the
Mhm.
way, I ran it from my other phone, so it's just
Oh,
on.
you could probably do it on the other phone.
No, I did. That's what I did.
Mm,
I started it from BRP on my other phone and jumped on
got it.
my other burner.
I see.
This is just his way of flexing that I'm doing this on two phones. Holla at me.
Right,
It is
exactly.
not relaxed. So Mimi, you jumped in, and
Yes.
what we're talking about is Justin just brought up how it kind of didn't feel like the build was like it kind of felt coasting, and then all of a sudden it picked up, and then
Mhm.
I was saying that hey, it feels like, in which I will say this, I'll put this out there now because I've seen a lot of people that are kind of opposed or not opposed to them going overseas. I like that they went over, and it sounds weird, but I like that they went over now and, for lack of a better term, got it over with, because it almost feels predictable, or they kind of take a rest.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever they go overseas, historically, they usually go right after Mania. And it always feels like it kind of drops off just a tad when they go overseas for their European tour or whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
right after Mania. This time they went and did their European tour on the road to WrestleMania. So for me, it was kind of like, all right, I wouldn't mind them doing this every year, because it gets that out of the way. And whatever happens after Mania, they still got to keep cooking. And it doesn't feel like they're taking a week or two off when they go over on the European tour. So I liked it. So I was saying that it picked up that last week of the European tour. Now that they're back in the States, Mimi,
Mm-hmm.
they really start cooking. Go ahead.
So I would say, the one thing I would say is, I didn't realize. Can you guys hear me? Do I sound funny?
No, you good.
Okay, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that I would enjoy the European tour the way I enjoyed it, because
Mm-hmm.
historically before, regardless of when they went, we always saw the playback. And
Yeah.
being able to see it, like, live in real
Yeah.
time, and even with the spec down,
Mm-hmm.
Sorry Not Sorry got links, people were posting links, and,
Oh yeah.
being able to watch it on the international Netflix side, it just really, it didn't feel bad. And I don't know if I didn't enjoy last night because of that or not, but I will say I really do enjoy the early time frame. And I also want to actually shout out Tony. I have not seen her in so long. I just want to say, hey girl, hey. Um and the reason why I'm specifically shouting you out, Tony, is because, I just want to say, give just a really quick shout out,
Mm-hmm.
Miss Barb's, that passed away
Mm-hmm.
this past week. And it made me think about our other homegirl that passed away a long time, like I think it's been 2 years since she passed away. But it's just good to see you, Tony. I didn't realize You don't realize that you haven't seen people until you see people. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
And yeah, so I just wanted to shout her out because I saw her thing, and I was like, oh my god, I haven't seen her in so long. So, um, going back to the thing, I love the early time. I really, really do. Was
Yeah, we're
not looking.
spoiled by that.
Yeah,
We were
I
spoiled.
if they can continue to do those types of loops maybe twice a year, I would thoroughly enjoy it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because I'm serious. I loved being able to watch at 3 or 4 o'clock,
Mhm.
and I've got my whole night again.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
or and not even for my whole night to go do something. My whole night's gonna go to sleep.
That's right.
Like
That's right. That's right. That's right.
that's really what it is, man. And I get it, but the other factor of that is, once it airs at 3 or 4 or whatever, the good thing about Netflix, which I can't even be mad that they went there, that joint is available
Immediately.
immediately.
Immediately. Yes.
As
Yes.
soon as it ends, it's ready for playback, and I'm
Mhm.
like, I ain't mad at that.
Mhm.
So I could come home at 4:58 and cut on Raw, and I can start live while it's still on, or I can just wait until when I think it ends at 5:30 or whatever, cut it on, and still by 9 o'clock I'm still done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I hear you, and I like it for another reason.
Hmm.
For me, it's the crowds
Yeah.
because if you guys follow me on socials, you know I love the footies. I watch soccer or football, as we call it, and you
Hmm.
get those type of crowd atmospheres
Hmm.
when you watch them go overseas that we don't get over here. And it's a big difference because over there they're consistently bringing the energy nonstop from
Mhm.
start to end versus Here, we pick and choose what we give energy, and there are times where we can be assholes and just try to get ourselves over. Of like, I'm not enjoying the Charlotte Tiffany segment. Fuck it, we're taking over. We're hijacking the segment,
Mhm.
regardless. Where over there, they just show a lot of love, even the stuff that they don't like. They'll come up with their own different chants and
Mhm.
songs and stuff like
Hmm.
that, and they really bring an energy that makes us look like, damn, are we really like assholes or are we just lazy? Because 2.5 hours, you guys aren't even like slowing down.
Right.
And it's just like Jesus, but then we forget that they get these shows once, maybe at best twice a year. In some places, they only get it once a year or every other year. Versus, Mimi lives close to New York. She's gonna get like 6, 7 shows throughout the year,
Hmm.
minimum.
Mhm.
Me and
Mhm.
Corey live in the DC area, so between Raw, SmackDown, and live shows, we're gonna get at least 2 or 3 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They only get, yeah, like he said, that was my main thing, Justin, was that they only getting one show every once in a blue moon anyway. So they saving all that energy for that. So I agree. Yeah. Go ahead,
Okay.
Mimi.
No, that was it for me. Did we
And
get into the
sometimes it's
show?
elective energy because hey, we love you, Europe, but we've been seeing how you've been treating people like Bianca, and it's consistent where it's like, hmm. So
Right.
she's a baby face, but y'all giving her heel vibe. She ain't doing heel shit, but y'all showing your ass a little bit, and this is coming a little consistent. Of like,
Yeah.
is it because you think she's doing heel shit, or is it because we're
She
seeing
was
this beautiful
healing.
black woman rock and
Oh, she been healing.
She's
No,
been
she been
healing.
healing.
She's been healing.
I
Did we
mean
get
she's
into
been
the show
healing,
yet?
but
Did we get into the show yet?
No, no, we just
we,
started.
we
You
were
just
waiting on
asked and we
you.
started.
Oh,
You
okay,
good?
okay. I'm
We were
sorry.
waiting
I'm
on you.
sorry.
Tag
Okay.
in. Go.
So, okay. So I saw a lot of negativity on this woman's build. And
Mhm.
I don't have anything negative to say about it. I'll be honest, I'm just not invested. And maybe that's negative. I don't know. But it feels like it feels like Rhea is Karening her way into it. It feels like she forced her way into it. And of course it's the booking, right?
Mhm.
It's the
Yes.
booking. And so and it's giving, my favorite is not winning, and it's giving that she's not winning. That's what it feels like it's giving to me
Yeah,
because they're
Rhea,
trying to
Rhea
stress
literally
something.
definitely spoke to the manager. She definitely did.
No,
So
Rhea didn't speak to the manager. She grabbed the manager. She pulled the manager. She dragged the manager
Took
and
him to
forced the
aisle
manager's
13 and
signature
was
and
like,
said,
"This
"See,
is on sale."
right, right. I just feel like she should have they should have incorporated her a little bit better, and I'm not really sure why it happened the way it happened. But again,
Hmm.
it's the reason why I don't understand why is because I'm not invested.
So, because think about it like this, Justin and Mimi, if you look at it from the outside looking in, for the average person just watching, not in, not fully investing too much thought into it, but just watching, Rhea lost her title, complained,
Mhm.
saying that she was sad because basically she was sad that she lost her title, complained, and then got reinserted into the mix basically
Right.
because she lost. And I mean, they pick and choose when they want to
Yeah.
enforce that rematch clause thing.
Yeah.
They pick and choose that because a lot of people don't get rematches. And so, but she got a rematch, and and things that was. I mean, I know that was their way of writing back in how they fit her back in, but realistically, she lost the title,
Yeah.
and it should have been Io and Bianca. From the outside, I know we know what's going on, but to the average person just watching, hey, I'm watching this show, it should have been Bianca and Io at WrestleMania,
Yeah.
point blank.
Yeah.
And that's what Bianca was getting at, as we've been talking about her healing, because she's right. She's like, I won the Elimination Chamber. Io won the championship. It should be me and Io one on one at WrestleMania.
Right.
But no, here's Rhea. She done found her way back into, and it's the fans are eating it up, and it's kind of like, okay, I get it, and I know it's not Rhea's fault, obviously, that they love her, but
Mhm.
it's like, ooh, like okay, Yeah, so I don't know
But
where
it's
they're.
not Bianca's fault either, but yet
Yeah,
she's the one getting booed out of this. It's like, I'm
yeah,
telling
yeah.
you facts. I went through all this shit. I did everything right. And you're giving me grief. And Rhea's bullying her way in, all pun intended. And you're
Yeah.
like, let's go. We need Rhea in there. Da, 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 da. Da. It's haphazard, but I like it because I see where this is going. And I know that the match is going to deliver because Bianca is a beast when it comes to Mania matches. Rhea has
Hmm.
been in great form, and people be sleeping on Io Sky. And this is where I'm glad Io's in this because this is usually the time where, sorry, Io, you're not winning that title match. You're gonna have to sit this Mania out. Healthy scratch. We need Rhea and Bianca as people have been fantasizing for. But now you get to be reminded of, nah, Io be throwing down. Did we forget that Io just put out a banger with Bailey last year?
Yeah.
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 Like put some respect on her name, and this build and this feud has been while Rhea's doing the Karen shit. Bianca is like, no, put respect on my name. I earned this, and I'm willing to turn up the heel shit a little bit and tween this. That you're gonna remember who the fuck I am. And Io's like, last I checked, I am the champion. Rhea, you have yet to beat me for a title.
Hmm.
Bianca, I am on just as on your level when it comes to this shit. I may not have the Mania wins, but everything else on my resume almost matches your shit.
Hmm.
Respect me.
Right.
And this match, I feel like is delivering, and this feud is now starting to deliver. On the flip side, Charlotte and Tiffany, I need this girl to lose this belt expeditiously. And this build has not been hitting. We've been Mimi. You've heard me complain about this on like the last buckle, but I hit my breaking point this past week where
That
I don't know
promo
if
was
this was a legit
terrible.
shoot.
Hmm.
I don't know if this was a legit shoot. I don't know if they went off script. I'm hoping not too much because Charlotte, love you. This ain't the first time you've done this. But it got to a point where like, yo, Tiffany, I need you to lose this title and just find yourself, girl. Because
It ain't the first time Charlotte did what?
oh, did we forget Charlotte, Becky, and the whole they were swapping titles? That shit didn't go according to plan, and
Why?
then they legit
We
almost
do
fought
this every.
backstage.
I know we do this every time, Justin. Why is it that it's Charlotte that it was Charlotte's fault?
Well, in that case, it was both
Right. So the first thing that came out your mouth was Charlotte, and this is
because
what
there's
I
history with
tweeted.
Charlotte. There's
Huh?
history with this. That's why.
I understand that, but I think that's the frustration that I have and a lot of people had over Friday. Like Friday, she couldn't even get a word in edgewise. I think that promo would have gotten a little bit better if the crowd would have been a little bit more receptive. And I was very I thought that crowds would have been doing a little bit better than what they've been doing as of lately. I feel like the crowds have gotten worse. And Friday, it was super disrespectful to the both of them.
And refresh my memory real quick. Friday, that was Chicago.
I don't know. I
Yes.
don't remember.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Yes.
Chicago's usually one of those towns of we do what we want.
It's whack. It's stupid, regardless of what it is. It's my point is that it's whack. It's stupid. And it was super disrespectful to them. And it
It's-
basically ruined it. It made people talk shit online.
And it was horrible timing because this was also right after Charlotte went on, what was it, Sherry Shepherd,
Yeah. Yep.
and was for the first time actually openly talking about her divorce and all the shit with Andrade. So you had that not even what 48 hours later. You're doing this where Tiffany's actually taking pop shots at this.
See,
It was
that's the
like,
thing. So here's the thing with that.
ooh.
I thought that that was agreed upon because sometimes I feel like
That's
when they
what.
start
Me
doing
too.
stuff like that,
Me too.
I feel like it's agreed upon. So when I saw some of that stuff online, I was just like, well, I don't know if she actually took a shot. She could have agreed to say, okay, go ahead and just do this. You know, if it goes a little left, go ahead and just do this. And so I kind of felt like she probably agreed to go with it because her face didn't look like she didn't wince or anything like that.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like she was just like, "What the fuck are you like? Are you serious right now?" It didn't give that. What it gave towards the end was okay, something just went left, and I'm not sure.
Yeah.
why it went left. And all the personal shots that she took at Charlotte, I felt like were not it wasn't even. The shots that she was taking at her were like industry shots, right? What it should be about your work and whatever. She was taking literally personal shots at Charlotte. And I didn't really it made her look super immature and not ready to be in the spot that she's in right now. Tiffany Stratton should not be in the spot that she's in right now.
Mm,
Bingo.
okay. All right. Well,
It's like we looked at it from two different viewpoints, but ended up on the same road and the same destination.
there you go. All right. So,
You
Mimi
think
and
you
you let
think differently, Corey?
look. I'm not. Nope. Not getting in this. So,
You
But it's
better
a
tag in and say
discussion. That's
something.
no,
stupid. What are you talking about? We're having a
nope.
discussion.
I
This is
said
what the
my
show's
piece. Mimi said
about.
her piece. You kind of gotta chime in on this one, dude.
Do I? Do I?
Yes,
Yes. What are you
Oh
talking
my
about?
gosh. I thought it was a good segment. I thought
this
they.
is a high profile
What?
match with the Royal
This,
Rumble winner.
okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Here's why.
Mhm.
Yes, the back and forth was very monotone, and it was like, ugh. I mean, but that last little bit, that last little 30 seconds or whatever, I was like, oh, okay, there's a spark. I'm
Mhm.
always going to lean on the side of this all being a work until it isn't. So for me, it felt like this was the way it was supposed to go down. I
Mhm.
know it looks like it isn't, but until I truly see otherwise, and maybe Charlotte's potatoing her at Mania, or she's sandbagging her at Mania or something, where it's like, okay, this is, this maybe went off the rails. But until then, I'm gonna treat it as a work. So
Mhm. Mhm.
that is where I'm at. They went, oh yeah, yeah. Tiffany definitely, went, right boom in the gut, like with the shot she was taking, which
But
that's
she's
why
been
for
doing this
me.
the whole feud.
And but see, that's why for weeks now, because it's been going like that,
Mhm.
that's why I kind of feel like, okay, this is being worked in, because it is only so much. And this is just me speaking. I don't know how,
Next
you
up.
know Charlotte is a professional of professionals,
Mhm.
so she's not probably going to take that shot, but she's, at some point, I would think something's got to give when it's becoming that personal.
Well,
That.
I think the last couple of weeks it's been so bad that she was just like, okay, because remember,
Hmm.
Tiffany's been really, really bad at whatever it is that she's doing, right? And
Okay.
so
Mm.
she has Corey, like she's not been as strong as she
Okay.
should be.
That's
Maybe
fine.
I'm not gonna say bad. She's not been
No,
strong.
it
She's
was
not been
bad.
strong. No, no, no. I'm gonna
When they had
be
to sit down away from each other, Charlotte like eviscerated her.
and I think that they did that, and I think that's why we missed the week last week, and I think that that was around that time. I think that was done intentionally to make her feel comfortable because you can tell when she was in the room I'm sorry, in the ring with Charlotte, she really couldn't keep up with Charlotte. She was stuttering, she couldn't maintain the crowd. Like
Hmm.
even with this week, I kind of felt like they let her get her stuff off
Yeah.
first. Um, and then when
Yeah.
Charlotte tried to chime in, she just really they let her have the crowd. Then they knew that the crowd was gonna, shut Charlotte up.
Yeah.
And
Because Charlotte won the
I didn't
interview one. She
right.
won that one.
Right, and she wasn't even putting in energy to
Yeah.
her. She was basically pacing herself to
Hmm.
let her go because, "Okay, I know that you're uncomfortable. I know that you can't get with it, but I'm gonna go super slow for you so that you can kind of, like, try to take a shot," and Tiffany couldn't do it. She was stuttering, she was doing all the things that she should not be doing. So now she's in the ring, and even though it felt like she memorized a lot of the stuff, like, but
Hmm.
it just felt like that crowd was not going to let her get a word in edgewise because she eviscerated her that last week. They wanted Tiffany to win, and that's what I don't like about the crowd. The crowd doesn't like the company to pick who they want to be their person, but then the crowd will pick their person and tell you this is who we want, even when that person is not where they need to be. That's what I don't like about wrestling fans.
Okay, very good. And once again, you let me know when you want me to start letting people in, and I will. So, um, but
Right.
yes,
Oh my God.
you said what?
Thank you.
Oh,
Um,
you're welcome anytime.
I was talking to the bus driver.
No, it's okay.
Oh
Oh,
God,
there's a
it's
butt driver? Where?
a bus driver.
Yeah,
Oh,
you heard what she said. No, no, no.
I
We
don't know. I
heard
got
you,
lost in
Chuck.
translation. We gotta specify.
She just Charles Barkley that
Specificity.
joint, but we gonna let her rock.
Oh my God. It's windy, so I have to go into silent because it's super windy and I don't want to
Well, then
bother
shut
people's
it
ear.
up.
But you
All
need to
right.
respond. You need to respond because at the
All
end
right.
of the day, like this is a show and we're
Uh-huh.
having conversations and folks who want to chime in, please definitely do chime in.
I already responded. You just heard me. Anyway,
Nah, but Corey, let's let some people in because I see the
yeah,
hotline like going hot
yeah. No,
right
I'm
now.
gonna, I'm
So,
gonna,
and
I'm gonna
since
get
this
some
is
people in.
fresh,
I know the order of who was being trying to get in. So I'll let Ronnie go ahead. Ronnie, go ahead. What's going on?
Doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Just wanted to like talk about the whole thing with see they it's been like 3 weeks since,
Okay.
and everyone's been going about the crowd that's booing Bianca, or they're a bunch of racists, blah 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 blah.
Okay. Hmm.
Like, bro, they're not seeing the bigger picture. Of course, people will be this boring to use them as an excuse. It's no surprise. Look,
Hmm.
if Bianca was being booed because of her skin color and racism, I'll be the first to call it out. But let's be real here. What the real reason? Bianca is getting that John Cena polarizing aura that she's getting. That's what's happening.
I do hear you. I think that's opinionated, only because she's been relatively cool the last year.
Yeah.
So I can't really 100. I do hear you because before that, I could see that trend happening, but she has, for all intents and purposes, based on where she was and where she was factored in to the title picture for 2 or 3 years compared to last year, the last year, yeah, she has cooled off since then. So I do hear you. As far as you're always gonna have those pockets of somewhere that somebody may be booing her because she's racist, but I mean because they're racist. But until that's 100% proven, given what they've been doing with her lately and the people she's up against, I could see where yes, some people may think it's a racist thing, but I could also see where they're just booking her as the heel in all of this.
That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
it's a slow building heel turn.
yeah,
It may not, they might not turn her heel immediately or
yeah.
maybe even after WrestleMania, but it's a slow burn. That's where they're not seeing the bigger picture. Look, and some people have said that Bianca has grown stale and boring. I don't agree with that.
Okay.
Bianca is Bianca. Obviously a megastar. This her getting booed and cheered, this polarizing like John Cena like pop she's getting,
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna make her even more of a bigger star, especially if she wins the women's world title at WrestleMania. Whether it's between her or EO, I mean, look, love Rhea, but I don't think Rhea needs it right now.
Yeah, well, we're gonna find out in what 12 days, 11 days, whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna find out.
Plus, we kind of knew the
I
triple
don't
threat
think
was
Bianca
Go ahead, be me.
Bianca doesn't either. Are that
Yeah,
they're
I
either
personally think I think
parallel
EO
each
might be the
other?
one that wins. You said what?
Right. But I think EO needs it, but I don't think Bianca needs it either.
Right.
I don't think
Absolutely.
Bianca needs the title either because Bianca is like if they're not parallel, her and Rhea, they might be parallel stars. If not, one might be one over the other. But um To respond to his comment about the European crowd has notoriously not liked Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
This is something that that is been a running thing, in my opinion. But yeah, they just don't like her. I don't know why they don't like her, but it to some folks, yeah, and that initial, okay, you only doing this to this black girl, it I think that sentiment is warranted, and it's okay to feel that way. Maybe not. That might not be it, but it's a running thing. She's always been hot. Regardless if her run has been cool, she's always been hot.
In your opinion, Mimi, like, because the crowd is booing her, do you believe in your opinion that racism plays a part or no?
Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
Yeah. Now we
yeah,
can.
you were muted.
Yep.
Sorry.
I think racism does play a part. This is a very white sport. I think racism plays a part in some instances, maybe not this one, maybe not, but it's not something that's far-fetched
Right.
to believe. That's what I'm saying, because notoriously, she always gets booed in European countries, but at the end of the day, um, it's not something that's like, oh no, this is absolutely not what's happening. You just never know.
Yeah. Appreciation, right? I gotta get some other people. I got a lot of people calling in. My gosh,
All
Calling
right,
requesting
in.
cool.
in. Relax. I appreciate you, Ronnie. Thank you,
Thank you.
No, no
Tony.
problem.
What's going on?
Tony.
Hey y'all.
What's going on?
Hi,
Hi. It's been a
Tony.
while. Thanks for having me.
I know.
I have things to say, probably only about the women, because that's usually all I pay attention to lately. Um, well, with a few exceptions. Because,
Floor is yours.
but
Hmm.
in terms of, I'm going to hit the Bianca thing second, and I'm going to focus on the other championship first. Um, I definitely think Tiffy time's up. Um, I don't I think they overestimated her capabilities when they brought her to the main roster. They thought they were getting another Bianca, and I don't think she was there yet. I think they pushed it a little too far, too fast, and because of that, we're seeing the result not actually hitting its stride the way it needs to. Um, if they were going to push her like that, they needed to push her to the title right away. Trying to make it linger did not help her because she, just doesn't seem to have either the natural talent or the skill set yet to be able to handle the rough areas. Hopefully, eventually, she'll be able to pull herself out of that. It would be helpful if they let her be a character again, because that's the thing that they do sometimes when you get to a certain point. They give you storyline points, but they don't worry about whether it's in character or a character at all. They just have you do stuff, and it kind of makes it hard for the performer to kind of follow through and figure out how to make it make sense. And the people who are best at character work, people like Bianca or Naomi or, certain other people, can make it make sense for themselves and actually be able to pull through and still, make it all kind of come together. But Tiffy's not that girl in that sense. She's showing that she's not capable of that. In terms of that promo, they went for Salacious. I don't necessarily think that it was too much of a shoot. Like, I think it was like more of a worked shoot. Um, but I don't think they anticipated the crowd being so unwilling to hear from Charlotte and kind of have that back and forth. I feel like they might have tried to do more of a work shoot to give Tiffy a little bit more of a boost, since she'd been lagging way behind in this entire interaction. Um,
Hmm.
and the crowd decided to root behind Tiffany. I think people have forgotten that although it's been a long time since we've seen Charlotte, there are still a lot of people who remember her super booking, her years and
Hmm.
years and years of super booking. And bringing her back to immediately super booker again, it's gonna rub some of those people the wrong way. Like, you're not even giving them a chance to kind of feel her out again. You're immediately pushing, especially considering there are other returns that have happened and they're not getting the super booking. So I feel like some of the antagonism from the past and from that kind of bitterness is playing against Charlotte. Um, I also don't necessarily think that she's doing anything particularly exciting or entertaining. But usually you do your best work against your best combatant, so to speak, and she's not been given that. Um, Especially, yeah, I have my thoughts on Charlotte being overrated and things like that. And I know not everyone agrees and they feel she's the queen. I feel she's booked as the queen, not a queen, which I wish she would have been booked as a queen because, like, it would have been fun to play more into that character. But just, whatever. That's my take on it. It's always been that, and people will agree or disagree, whatever. But I just need
Yeah,
this
that's
feud to
fair.
be over. I need them to move on to whatever the next feud's going to be. um, I would love to see Charlotte versus Naomi at SummerSlam. I'd love to see Charlotte versus Jade at SummerSlam. I'd love to see a variety of things at SummerSlam, and none of them involve Tiffany at this time. Um,
I see what you did there.
I, I'm sorry. Um,
She's like, I couldn't resist. Jab. There you
I
go.
I think in pun sometimes, so it's not even intentional. But yeah, I'm ready for that feud to be over. Next weekend can't come fast enough at this point. I'm just done with it. I've tried to mentally like book it better, but it's just like I give up. Just like make this not be a thing anymore. I get it. Tiffany's supposed to be one of Charlotte's sons. They want to do the father son thing they always do with all the wrestlers, where the next big thing version of the other one fights that one, blah, blah, blah. If it's not Rock and Roman, I'm really not interested anymore. Also, the one that I would have cared about would have been Bianca versus Charlotte if Charlotte hadn't shit the bed the first time she actually fought Bianca in NXT. But I digress. I say all of this to say it has gotten better, whatever. I should let that go, but I'm bitter. I say all that to say the other trio that is happening for the title, I think we all saw it coming as soon as Io won, um, especially the way she won. And people have pointed out that Bianca may be getting the live treatment, where even though she's in the right, she's been treated as the villain. And I don't necessarily think this is the heel build. I think this is more of a villain origin story that is like much longer and stronger than just the Rhea situation, because this keeps happening with Bianca. She keeps doing the right thing the right way and gets pushed.
Oh, like Naomi. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, which would make sense because that's her mother on the show. Um, but I digress. But yeah, no, like she keeps doing the right thing the right way, and then gets pushed to the side for it. And it's a consistent trope. I remember there was the situation with Becky. She had to go to the back of the line after losing the title with Becky. There was, who was the next one that she ended up having to deal with, um fighting her way up to the top? I can't remember. It was something to do with the tag titles this time. But it's like every single time they're like, yeah, yeah, no, no, no. No, wait, it was because of Charlotte, because she was supposed to be getting another title shot at Asuka, and then Charlotte popped up and decided to just step in the way, and they were like, yeah, no, you're deserving of a rematch. But Charlotte, and so, like, this has now become a theme. Bianca does it the right way. She works for it, she earns it, she gets what she's deserving. and then she gets shit on for somebody else who gets pushed in front of her, and then everybody's looking at her like, why are you mad? You're the John Cena, you get whatever you want. Well, John Cena never got people pushed in front of him when he earned something. In fact, he was the one pushed in front of other people who had earned things at times. At times he earned it, but at times he was also the one being pushed in front of other people because he was John Cena. Meanwhile, Bianca doesn't get that treatment. She's Everything she gets, she has to earn. She has to be 5 times better to get half as much. It is a consistent theme, which leans us back into the was the European crowd racist? The answer is yes. Um, I'm going to say it unequivocally. I know people like to, tiptoe around the racism thing and not necessarily call a thing because it can seem a little bit aggressive or a little bit too hard nosed. And if it's a little ambiguous, then you're stuck out there, with your neck on the line. Well, I got a long neck. I'll take it. Um, and it's strong, so we're good. My neck's out there. It's racist. The European crowd has a history of being racist. There are a couple crowds within the European crowds that occasionally don't do that thing. Usually it's with a black wrestler who is loved but not appreciated, aka Naomi. They're really nice to Naomi because Naomi never gets her things when she's in Europe. And so she's just a really entertaining, fun black character that's not a threat to any of their white faves. Bianca is not that, has never been that. And so they cannot stand her because she is a problem for their faves, a legitimate problem, not a pretend problem where, they might, think that my fave can still beat her even though she's up in the title picture. No, but the EST of WWE is literally the best at damn near everything she does. She literally is the strongest, the fastest, the most consistent, everything that you want a wrestler to be. And she's black instead of their white fave, which is going to be a problem for them every time. Whether they have fully acknowledged that's why they're doing the shit they're doing or not, it doesn't make it less racist. It just means that they might not notice that's why they're doing it. Um, Also, we have to keep in mind European crowds are the same crowds at sporting events who have thrown feces at black performers who outperform their white teams. They are the same
Yep.
ones who say monkey and make other racial slurs. They're the same ones who called Naomi the N word back in the day before these were televised events. So let's not play these games like the European crowds are above being racist at sporting events. This is who they are, who they've always been. It didn't change simply because the sport changed. It just so happens they're not being as verbally racist as before. They're just booing. So I'm gonna be the one to call the spade the spade. I'm gonna be the one to stick my neck out and say it. Yes, they were being racist. Here's my thing. If they weren't being racist, they would have been more like the Minnesota crowd. And the reason I say that is because they did cheer when the John Cena shift happened, it wasn't an instantaneous shift to just randomly last week they were being cheered out of the building to being booed out of the building. It was a okay, this happened and then I booed you. I cheered you at first, I still liked you, or I slowly stopped cheering you as much and then I booed you. There was an actual progression for it. In the European crowds, it literally went from one night Bianca was getting cheered for like literally everything she was doing to being in Europe and silence or boos only, exclusively. And that tells me that's a different kind of energy than just simply she's being the John Cena and that's why they don't like her, blah, 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 blah. She's overpushed, blah, blah, blah. That's how I know it's not the same bullshit.
Yep.
If it had been like the crowd last night, I could have been like, okay, this is a progression. This is, the crowd is shifting on her. They're not necessarily, even the lead up to her losing the title to Becky at SummerSlam, there had been a slight shift in the crowd. Yes, they were still cheering her hard, but there had started to become a little bit more of the boos or a little bit more of the, you know, you know, split crowd. I was like, okay, if there's a shift, I could see it, but I don't necessarily want to see it, so I'm going to pretend like it's not happening because I'm a Bianca stan, and I'm Proud to say that. But
All right.
in
Well,
Europe, it was different.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
just different.
yeah,
All of us are Bianca stands. Okay.
yeah.
And I
Thank you,
love
Tony.
Um,
By the
taste.
way,
And I
you're
yeah, all of us are Bianca stands.
hmm
Um, I don't think you're sticking your neck out by saying that. Because a bunch of people have said it. Um, I just got a history lesson because I didn't know that all that stuff was happening on the untelevised shows. Um, and I think I was more stuck on the timing and being able to watch it super early, and not that these types of crowds were normal and were different.
And that's fair.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that, but that doesn't make I don't know who you were talking to,
Oh no,
but
no.
I'm okay. I just want to make sure that's clear. I wasn't tiptoeing around anybody. I
No.
just want to make sure that was
I
clear, because
was
no, like
at the end of the day, I see it both ways. I see it as every time she goes overseas, whether it be Rehad, whether it be like she always gets booed, like always.
not necessarily because
Um,
the
and
Saudi crowds
especially
didn't
and
boot her.
especially in Australia. Yes, they
Well, they
did.
didn't boo
They
her up
booed her.
front. They didn't boo her until she started to like beat Io.
Every time that she's gone to Saudi, when she wasn't, maybe you're right. Maybe when she wasn't a champion and she went to Saudi,
Hmm.
they booed her and I was shocked. I actually was just like, wait, but I couldn't remember. I don't have good match memory. So I don't know what happened that last time. All I know is that she was hot on the trails, and that was the first time that I heard her getting a boo. And then it was really, really crazy in Australia. And I was like, okay, all because Rhea's the fave? Like, she's getting this much booze? Like, this is I couldn't understand it. But I think that I'm not even gonna touch the Charlotte stuff, Tony,
We'll be
because
here all day. It's fine.
I'm just gonna say, while you're talking about not wanting to be Charlotte and Charlotte being overbooked, you named like a 5 or 6 Charlotte matches with your favorites. So what are we talking about? But we don't need to talk about it now. But I'm just saying.
I th- look, look. What I'm gonna say is this: am I somewhat biased against Charlotte? Yes. Can I be fair about Charlotte? Yes. Does that happen all the time?
I don't
Can
think if you are biased, you can be fair,
no, no.
Tony.
Can I
Like, you
like two things can
can't.
be true at the same time. There are times when I'm am I biased to her against her in general? There are times when I
Hmm.
am. Yes. Can I be fair about her? Yes. Was that one of the times? The world may never know. So this is where we are on the Charlotte topic. That's why I try to cut
When we
myself off because I'm like, if I
Mhm.
get on her tangent, I might go into that place where I get like really, really biased against her and like start saying some like hyperbolic stuff that's really, really unfair. And so like, let me just pull back and just say the little points that I want to say, and then come back from that, and then we move on, and we're all happy and living a good life.
So I'm gonna say this one thing, and then we're gonna move on to the next caller. Um, I encourage people that are staunch Becky fans to read and go against Charlotte, to read Becky's book and then come back to me. That's all I'm going to say, because Justin, you always refer to you refer to that specific feud, and you always refer to the Sasha Banks feud. I really need you to read Becky's book, and then come back to me and let me know how you
Okay,
feel
I'm
after
glad
that.
you
I
said that about
apologize.
Justin
It's
because
force of
I
habit.
also don't like Becky. So it really doesn't help me to see Becky's side of anything because it's not going to make
Hmm.
me see. Like, I have my issues with
Like,
both of them.
I don't like Becky either. But after reading that book and her admitting certain things, then I was just like, oh, okay. I still don't like you, but I'm gonna give you some type of credit because you just let that girl get dragged because of some shit that you had up your sleeve. That's all I'm gonna
And
Well,
say.
you'll have to
honestly,
let me
I'll
know
take
what
the
that is
homework.
because
I'll take the homework,
somebody do the homework and
especially.
like share with me because I'm not going to do that.
So I'll do the homework because I feel like, and me and you have had this offline conversation, Mimi, but it also goes back to, I think with Charlotte, I think the overall arcing problem, which is why Chicago happened, the majority of the fan base made their decision about Charlotte long time ago in 2016 when Charlotte got Super Cena booking. Where if you take away the Sasha feud, Charlotte goes an entire 18 months where she doesn't lose. She takes that Divas title off of Nikki Bella. She nerfs Nikki. She nerfs Paige. She nerfs Becky. She nerfs Natty in the feud. Eliminate Sasha, or she nerfs Sasha. She nursed Bailey for a while, and that's an entire 18-month stretch where she just is on the tribal chief level of booking. And I think that's where a lot of the fan base made their decision on Charlotte of like, we just don't fuck with her because what the fuck? You have a deep roster for once, and it's just Charlotte, Charlotte, Charlotte. We're tired of this shit. And since then, you
Yeah,
have
but
a
she's good. Like that's the part that I
but
don't
and
understand.
that's
Like
what's
it's not that
and
she's trash.
Here's
Like,
the
are y'all
problem. She's
serious?
no,
a
no, but
Randy
that's what's
Orton type
frustrating
of
because
performer.
she.
When she's good to great, she's spectacular. But if she decides on a specific feud or day that she does not want to give a fuck, there's nothing in the world that can make her decent. I'm
Tony, the only
sorry.
person
And
that
it's
she did, I
happened
know, Tony,
more
you're
than
right. But
once.
Tony, the only person that she's done that to was freaking Lacey Evans.
That's
That was the
not
only
true.
feud. So what other feud can you tell me? Can you tell me real quick? What other feud, aside from
I,
the Lacey Evans one, that she didn't put any energy into?
Bailey, not the first couple,
She
but
didn't put energy
the
into
last
Bailey?
Bailey feud. You want me to believe that she put any kind of energy in that last Bailey feud?
What year was that?
So that was when Bailey transformed from
I'm
Hugger
talking
era
about
Bailey
right
to role model
before she
Bailey.
became role model Bailey.
Yeah,
That
that's what I'm
last
saying. That
Hugger
transition,
feud,
because
she was sandbagging the fuck out of that feud every which way until finally we got role model Bailey,
I
and
don't
then they
believe that. I
separated
gotta
them.
go back. I gotta go back.
And
I
then
gotta see
but
and I
because
honestly,
told
that
you
don't
Tony.
even
the
make
first
sense.
time she had a match with with Bianca, she sandbagged the fuck out of Bianca throughout most of the match. There were moves that were
So
supposed to be
what?
getting done,
So
and
what
she
the?
wasn't
So
selling
Tony.
into them. She just didn't feel like it. She was trying, like, there were moments where they were supposed to be going back and forth with who's the strongest, new generation versus old generation, and she would sandbag the things that Bianca did, but she would want, but
Is
Bianca,
this perception? Is this perception? Is this perception?
no,
Because this is the bias situation
no,
that we're talking about
no.
right
This is
now.
what built the
Are you
bias. This
sure?
is what built the bias, not the cause of the bias.
So I'm
I'm
actually
gonna
going to
go
defend.
back.
I'll defend the Bailey feud here because that whole what you're saying played into Bailey's character because this is when Bailey was like, I need to change. This hugger shit ain't working. I need to change. Not a champions. Why am I losing like this? And that's what forced the change of give me the haircut, get rid of this fucking wacky wavy inflatable, get rid of everything, and the birth of the role model. Because Bailey was tired of this shit and tired of losing, and Charlotte was that catharsis of I'm I'm hitting a wall here. I need to break through this wall, or I need to just step off. And Bailey, that's where you get the entire 180 of her figuring out that role model character, and then eventually when they put Sasha with Bailey, that's where it started to
My
click. But
problem with
Charlotte
that
was the
argument,
antithesis of that's where you got the transition, and Charlotte helped bring that out.
that the problem with that argument is if her not being able to beat Charlotte could be the catharsis. Yes. Charlotte intentionally sandbagging at times and half assing at times is not the same thing. That's Charlotte knowing she can do this shit and then
Tony.
doing it. Look, it happens. There's been feuds, there's been matches, it's been a consistent thing. I've seen actually people put together the media. I'm not the talent when it comes to
Yeah,
media.
send me the media. Can you send me the
Yeah,
media?
this got to be an offline conversation.
Okay, I'll have to look for it. I had it saved on my old account, but I
We need
don't
we
have
need
it on my
receipts
new
on
one, so I have to
this.
look for it.
Because the only one that she actively like, and you saw it because I was like, what the hell is going on? I was absolutely mad because she was coming into the ring every single week in a different Disney villain costume, and she was giving Lacey Evans no fucking energy because of that storyline. She thought it was disgusting, and she did not. She was not given late because she was supposed to lose to Lacey Evans. I don't believe that Charlotte would have. I believe Charlotte would have been okay with losing against a Bailey, losing against a Bianca, losing against everybody
Losing against Oscar, who
except
was the damn
her.
champion.
That's right, except fucking Lacey Evans.
Yeah,
Lacey Evans. Sorry, part of my French, because she was trash.
absolutely. I'm not even mad at the thing about it is you keep bringing up Lacey Evans, and that's the one time I never got mad at her
Because
for.
that was evident. That was so evident.
Yeah,
You was
that's the
looking at
one
her. She
Because
time
was
we
I was
wrestling, and
like,
we
forget
were like,
well,
we
"What the fuck is
forget
she
that was
doing?"
supposed to be the WrestleMania 37 match. That was supposed to be Lacey Evans as champion, dethroning Asuka, and you get Charlotte and Lacey Evans, and that's why they worked
That's
Lacey Evans
right.
and the Ric Flair angle to begin with, because that was going to be the Mania match. But Lacey got legit pregnant, and then that's why they pivoted to
That's
Oscar Charlotte. And
right.
then whatever the fuck happened with Charlotte, whether it was COVID, not COVID, she got into some shit with Vince. That's why they pivoted a third time to Oscar Rhea, and that's why it
She
was
got some
Oscar
shit with
Rhea.
Vince. What are you talking about?
yeah,
She had to
here.
get her
Because
boobs done
so
Okay,
no
we're
no
again.
gonna
no
pivot
because
back
no
again.
something
What I'm gonna
no
say
no
is
because
you keep
something happened
But
at WrestleMania
we
37 before it that it was
No,
going to be
Justin.
Oscar
Justin,
Charlotte.
stop listening to these sheets, please.
okay.
I beg
we
you.
I'm just
gotta
saying.
get
I'm
other
not gonna
people
I'm
in.
not gonna
I'm
address
just saying because
that
Charlotte
part.
came out and said it wasn't COVID. Andrade said it wasn't COVID. Something happened that it went from Oscar Charlotte to Oscar Rhea. And then you get Charlotte post Mania, but it was supposed to be Oscar Charlotte. And whatever the fuck happened in that 2 weeks, where it's like, no, we're pivoting again. Oscar Rhea, that's gonna be your WrestleMania 37 match. And they came out at that time and was like, it ain't COVID. I don't know what's up.
Yeah, it
We
was.
we gonna
So
get
here's
Yeah.
the thing.
We need a
I
we
Tony
just
and
need
want
a
to
Amy
Charlotte
clarify
their own
spaces.
something.
We
space
need a
for
Charlotte space.
real.
We need a
You
Charlotte
keep
We
bringing
do
space.
because she needs her
They just
flowers,
need a
god
space
damn
with
it.
you
no
keep
sheet,
bringing
no
up the
nothing,
Lacey
and y'all
Evans
just go
feud, and
because
I just
this
want to
is
clarify. I've never complained about that feud. I thought it was hilarious.
It was terrible,
It was
Tony.
terrible,
It
but it
was
was hilarious.
garbage.
That
Terrible.
feud was beyond
I
ass
was
cheeks.
laughing at it because it's like, at least she's sandbagging someone. I hate this time. Keep going, do it harder. So I was not really
Right.
bothered at that time. I thought it was hilarious, especially seeing the look on Lacey's face and she couldn't act. So like seeing her like keep breaking over and over again, like you could see like where she's like, why is this happening? Oh my god, like why won't you react the way you're
Because
supposed?
you're
Like
doo
it was
doo. You're doo
hilarious to me,
doo.
and I thought that was funny because I was like, at least it's working in my favor this time. Do it again and do it harder. Um,
Mm.
that's what she said.
and did. Um,
Andy.
but yeah, so
Oh my
like you
god.
using the Lacey thing never works as an argument for me personally because that was the one time I was like, yes, at least she's charloting the way I need her to Charlotte. Um,
Listen, her and Naomi, when they had those last three matches
yes,
before she
when
left,
Charlotte
those were the
cares
best. And
and
she and
wants
so
to,
my thing is,
she can be
oh my god.
phenomenal. I've always said this, when Charlotte feels like it and wants to really turn that shit on, she can do some of the best work of her career. Some of the best work of her career was with Naomi and Sasha specifically because she felt like turning that shit on. She turned it to 15 and she was like, "You will never question that I am a great performer." And she was. Like, I will never get it out of my head when she turned to Sasha in the middle of a match and said, "You will never beat me," and then immediately got beat. That was some incredible TV. I will never take her highs away from her, but I'm not going to ignore her lows like a lot of people like to. That's the difference with me. I can see beyond the booking, and I can
I'm
see
gonna
that
go back. I'm gonna go
she has
back.
a habit of Randy Ortoning. If she cares and is
Oh, oh,
invested, she
oh,
will give you
okay.
magic.
Oh
Okay,
If
that's
she
it.
Lord.
doesn't,
That's
she
it.
don't give a
You're
fuck, and it
done.
shows.
You are done, Tony.
All right,
You are
Tony.
done.
Tony, with all due respect,
And
I
I'm
love
You
willing
where
are
to
you.
stand
I
on an
done.
love where you're going
island
with
on
all
that
of
one.
this. I
Oh
love where you're going with all
no.
this, but let's
Not
pivot this and
Randell.
let's
Oh,
table this for different spaces because honestly, we've been on Charlotte for 20 minutes and we be
the
looking at
queen.
the hotline. The hotline is hot. I see all you've been graciously waiting to jump
I'm
in
so sorry.
here. So so Tony, I love you, but hop off, please.
Okay, it's been a pleasure. Love you
Hop
guys.
off,
Bye.
please.
No. I
You're
I'm
need to say
sorry.
great.
this with her.
Thank
I'm
I need
sorry.
to
you.
It's
say this with
Sandman.
her. We're
I
gonna
love
do
you, but it's
this.
Sandman time. That needs to be a separate conversation.
You're
Not my
great. Thanks,
Ranzo.
Let me
Tony. I
go my own
appreciate
way.
you.
We love you, girl, but
You're
I see
good.
people have been waiting here for at least 15
Okay,
minutes to
let him
jump
in.
in.
Let him in.
All right,
No,
what was
I
the
already
order,
already
Corey?
have a holy podcast. Go ahead. I know you've been waiting. I appreciate you. Thank you.
What up, though, man? Appreciate y'all letting me on. This ABE from DET from the Podcast. I ain't even gonna get into that Charlotte
Welcome.
conversation because she the goat in my book, gonna always be the
Okay.
goat. Men lie,
Okay.
women lie, numbers don't. So I ain't even gonna go down that road.
One of these days, we'll actually hop on here and do a Charlotte appreciation like
That's right.
Hey,
Spaces,
put
and
me
we
at
That's
the
can we
right.
front
can
of the
have this
list.
out.
Put me at the front of the list. But what I wanted to talk about was
Uh huh.
a lot of times people relate to wrestlers because they feel like it's got something to do with them. It reminds them of themselves. And back in the day when Jay was right hand man, I felt like he was one of them ones, man. I remember when he ripped Sammy's shirt off, that aggression that he had, that made me a Jay fan. But this whole thing with Gunther, man, it's just been. I never went into a feud thinking I like this guy and I hate the other guy because I wasn't a Gunther fan. To me, it done
Hmm.
360, man. Through this feud, now I'm a Gunther fan and I'm liking Jay less. And last night, that promo, the way he did that and was like, I went and talked to my mom, and my mom said this. Man, if I went to my mama after my brother got his ass whooped, she had whooped my ass. You know what I mean? Ain't no talking. But I understand what they
Hmm.
doing with him. The yeet thing is getting hot. He's becoming more or less like me and guys like me, and more so they trying to make him for the kids. A little more softer character, maybe like that. But I just wasn't feeling that, man. I felt like ever since he's left Roman, I'm not even the biggest Roman fan, but I'm realizing he the battery for that family, man. It's like kind of like a family with a bunch of mid Carters, and he making them more than what they are. Now I know the Yeet thing is over, it's hot with everybody, it's something cool to chant, but it's just not resonating with me. The only bloodline member right now who I got faith in, who don't have Roman by his side, is Jacob. You know what I mean? So that's what I wanted to speak on. Just Jay not being that Jay that I fell in love with. And I know characters, they transition, they go through phases. But man, that was my guy, man. But he lost me last night with that. I hope Gunther destroy him, John Cena, Brock Lesnar style at SummerSlam. I'm all off on board
Wow.
the Yeet train. I'm sorry. I know he
You
gonna win
know,
me over. I got faith in him. He gonna come back. But right now, you're not that guy. You're not that guy.
so
Go ahead, Mimi.
you're one of those people that have been dragging his name till kingdom
Oh
come
no. Oh
since
no.
January. I've been waiting for one of y'all to come up in here.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
There
then
it is.
let's clear out. Clear out. Mimi,
Now
you got the
listen,
floor.
and I'm not gonna
You
make it
clear out. I'm
long and
staying.
drawn out like my me and my girl Tone.
Okay.
What I'm gonna say is you said it yourself. You know that wrestlers are supposed to go through these phases. Jay Uso was not supposed to be where he is right now. If we go back and think about when they were playing in the paint, whenever Jimmy got hurt, Jay was sidelined. Or whenever Jay got hurt, Jimmy was sidelined. And during the pandemic, they threw him an alley oop and he dunked. He dunked slowly, but he dunked. This is true. I think that this is just my opinion. I'm not going to say this is what it is, but if you're like if you think as a marketer, because I work in a marketing space, when you think as a marketer and you're trying to get a product over, so to speak, or organically get it some type of traction or some type of something behind it, Jay Uso is the person that you would kind of like say,
Facts.
okay, this is a case study. He went from doing some fucking dance thing in the pandemic. I don't even remember that raw because I completely blocked that whole thing. Every time I see clips of that, I was just like, what? And Naomi was breakdancing. Like, that was some crazy shit. And that's when Jimmy was out. And Jimmy was out for what? A year and a half? Like, his injury was so bad. He could have stayed on the shelf forever.
So Jimmy had the torn ACL at that WrestleMania 36, where instead of it being all the tag teams, it was one of each in that ladder match, and that's where Jimmy tore his ACL, so it was minimum a year.
Right. But he was out longer than that. It winded up being
Yeah,
longer than that, and then they started it slowly introducing him
well,
into
because
the
remember it was pandemic still,
right.
so
So they would
that played a
still
factor.
right, but they still introduced him slow when Roman came back. They still introduced him slowly. Then you saw him the right hand, like then you saw him the defiant. Then you saw, and still at that point, you're like, this guy's not supposed to be here. Like he looks like Roman looks. Because Roman came back looking like a completely different person, completely different character, and Jay was still this baby, like literally drinking out of a bottle. And nobody could see him for that, right? I was in the space, we started the spaces, like what has been 6 years now. And I was advocating when the bloodline was at its peak, advocating, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. And then you saw this like um follow behind this yes sir type guy behind his cousin. Again, never thought that he would ever be in the title picture, right? Then that character started morphing into something else, and then he's going against, and I'm like, oh my God, like this story has been so long. It's been so long. The rightful person to dethrone Roman should be Jay. It makes sense character wise, but still, a lot of people were saying it's he still doesn't feel like a character, like a championship character. So then he morphed into this Yeet guy. And mind you, Jay's been saying Yeet for a very long time, like for the before 6 years ago. So then you're like, okay, he's got these colors. It's giving very much New Day, very much John Cena, but not as big as John Cena. And you're still like, let's just go ahead and just give him that side title, give him the side title or whatever. And then he loses Money in the Bank. We thought we were going to get Yeet in the Bank. He loses Money in the Bank. Okay. And I know y'all know the path already, but to say that he's not the guy when he legitimately kept his fans, he's this Yeet guy. He went to fucking Paris, lit up the whole stadium, and continue to come back into the States and keep yeeting. And niggas is up every week, sometimes twice a week. We still didn't think he was going to win the Rumble. We still did not think he was going to win the Rumble because he's yeeting, he's smiling, he's like shucking. No, it ain't going to happen. And then he wins the freaking title. He is one of the biggest baby faces in that company.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest. And it's like, to me, I personally felt, regardless of what aura Cody has, yo, they was
Oh,
standing
I
neck
have
and
aura.
neck.
I know.
You do, friend. You
It's
do.
fine.
They was standing neck and neck in my eyes. In my eyes, because
But Mimi has
everybody
a
else
case
will
Of
say,
here.
course.
Mimi,
Of course,
Mimi
your
will say,
eyes.
Mimi has a case here.
folks will say, oh, Cody still has it. Cody said, Corey will go to a fucking show. I will fucking look at the crowd and see that, yeah, they're singing his song, but they not really up for Cody. But Corey will come back and tell me they was up for Cody in
I'm
that
sitting
stadium.
in there. Of
Okay.
course.
Okay. That's what he's going to tell me. Okay.
Okay.
So
Mm.
here we are. He wins the Intercontinental Champion. Niggas is crying, right? Because we're like, this is a
Yeah,
baby. This is
that
a
got a major pop.
baby. Yo, he wasn't supposed to be here. He was not supposed to
And
be here.
Corey, correct me if I'm wrong. Jay winning the IC title, that was his first solo title, non
Yes.
Usos, correct?
Non Usos.
Yes.
Non freaking Usos, right? So then he goes, first of all, as the right hand man, that character morphed into three different people. Okay? He went from crazy to lunatic to straight level-headed. I'm not gonna let you fuck with me like that no more. I don't care if you're my cousin. Like, we watched it happen, and I don't know if people forgot, but I feel like they forgot who Jey Uso is. And so when we said this whole, I will never forget when Corey said, And I think you said it too, Justin, that the Royal Rumble, that hype happened too early in this feud and it completely died out with everything else that was happening. And we was feeling bad for Gunther. But Gunther was the right person for him because when he said he was going to make his life a living hell, what happened last week and this week should have been happened from before. He should have done what Roman did to Jay. But we got it. We got it because we were like, what the hell? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Last week was crazy. Last night, that promo
Oh my.
is anything better than he has ever done.
So can we
Yeah,
rewind back real quick because we weren't online, we weren't doing the space for the way he obliterated Jimmy. We called this, we asked for this. The man was licking his blood and putting it across his chest like it was fucking blood sport.
And there's nothing he could do.
And then he shackled Jay to the ropes of like, I'm gonna put you at arm's length so you can touch your brother, and I'm gonna yank him back. I'm gonna do this right in front of you, but I'm gonna make you to where you can actually touch your brother. To be like, not only am I gonna do this in front of you, but you're even arm's reach to where like you can grab him. And I'll be like, nope, he's mine. I'm gonna personally do this. It was just and I think that played into this week. I ain't gonna lie. At first, I wanted blood for blood, sangre por sangre. Maybe that's the Latino in me,
Mm-hmm.
where we nah, you go blood, we go family, we go nuclear. But I had to rewatch that promo again, and I was just like, oh fuck, this hit different because he's like, nah, I'm gonna
Paced,
talk to you for real.
paced.
You hit a pain that I haven't hit before. Well, I haven't hit since the tribal chief in that Hell in a Cell level of shit. And I'm gonna be so calculated with this. The entire crowd shut the fuck up and
That's
listen. And
right.
everyone was
He
like,
controlled the crowd. He controlled
and the
the
entire crowd's
crowd.
like, all right, talk to him. Where are we going with this? And Jay's like, nah, I'm
Paced,
praying for you and your family because what I'm about to do to you
paced.
is gonna be biblical. And I was like, oh, I need to hear this a second time. Because the first time I was like, nah. He put your brother in the ICU. You gotta put him in the ICU immediately. Like you gotta react like
And
that. But
legit didn't touch him. Didn't touch him.
because he was like, nah, this is bigger than that. Because if I do that, I fuck up my title shot at WrestleMania and I run Rumble.
I mean,
I'm
everybody
not
does
about
it,
to do
right?
that.
I'm about everybody does it. Everybody
Yeah,
does
but
it.
everyone does it. But like, I'm not that stupid. But I want both. I want everything. But I'm not gonna forget this come Mania. I was like, I needed to hear that a second time to be like, mm, I wasn't ready to receive it then. I'm ready to receive it now. I've received it. Bless you.
Listen,
Goddamn.
yeah. I
That's a
mean,
that's a full on evolution.
slow paced. He didn't yell at him in the beginning. He said, "Look at." He said when he said, "Look at me, Gunther." He said, "I want you to look me in my eye," and did not touch. After what he did to his brother, he did not touch him, and he just like just continued to let him know what's going to happen. Now, do we think this match is going to deliver? I truly believe this match is going to deliver because
One
we
thousand
got
percent.
two of the best, um, two of the best in the industry.
At the very
Two of the best
least,
at wrestling.
Gunther
Yes,
is a big match
So you got
wrestler,
a
and every time he
you
got
got a favorite
if you
Jey Uso singles match that you enjoyed that you like, wow, wow, he's a great wrestler. You got one of those? Tag team, yeah. I can name a bunch of Uso
oh
matches.
go all
you
right,
don't think
so
Jey Uso has
Singles.
trans? You don't think he has transformed his tag team wrestling into his singles career?
Absolutely not. You had a WrestleMania match
I,
with your
I got this,
brother
I
and
got
it
this,
was
I got this.
trash.
So here you go. You want singles matches? Go back to Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, Hell in a
Oh yeah.
Cell, which
Great.
started all of
Great.
this shit.
Great.
Go back to Jey
He
Uso,
said, "Great."
Braun Breaker, the IC title match, where Jay actually wins the IC title match. Jay's actually had bangers. Now, here's the thing. Look at his partner, Gunther. Gunther is a big match wrestler. There's a reason why we always go back and say Gunther Dragunov. The first match is a fucking 5 star. The second match in NXT, another 5 star. Gunther has always been a big match wrestler before WWE in NXT and on the main roster. When he was doing that IC title run, anytime Gunther put that title on the line, it was must see. There's a reason why one of the best matches in WrestleMania 40 that entire weekend was when Sammy took that shit off of him. Gunther is a big match wrestler and gets the best out of everybody he wrestles. Gunther's one of those guys that you can be like, he could wrestle a broom and get a 5-star match. That's
But
Gunther.
Jay couldn't do that.
He's all physical. But now you have Jay with momentum. You have Jay with story. You have Gunther's gonna be all physical on his ass and bring out the best in Jay and elevate. And you're gonna get a really great match. You probably get the best match out of Jay
But then you
Uso
depending on
in this match. But Jay has put on
but
bangers
then you
though. Don't do
depending on
that.
Jay to always be in the ring with a Roman or a Braun Breaker or a Gunther. Those is these incredible wrestlers. I'd like to see
This
him.
is wrestling, kid. You need two to tango.
Yes. What are you talking
You need
about?
two
How
to
you think they
But
tango.
gonna
it's
be
not two, it's
great?
1.5.
Sasha Banks is one of the Mercedes Monet is one of the best wrestlers in the world. It takes two to tango. It always takes a partner. You need a Bailey. You need a Willow
I watched
You
Nightingale.
need
You
a
Kenny
need a
Omega.
Charlotte
Athena. You
I
need
Flair.
a
watched
Charlotte
Kenny Omega
Flair.
watch it wrestle a 6-year-old girl. It don't take two to tango. It take one and you could get
And
carried.
What? Did you just mention that?
I'm just saying.
yeah, yeah, he pulled one of
I'm
those.
just saying.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
It
Don't
don't
do
No.
take two to
that.
tango. It
It
take one.
does.
And if
Yeah,
you get
Kenny
that
has
Yeah,
six
lucky,
and
year
you
olds.
it's
know
So did
what?
so
And you
seven.
did
know
Braun
what? No,
Strowman.
wait,
And
wait,
what
wait, wait, wait. You know
how did it for
what? To
Braun?
his defense, it does take one because every match that Cody has had with really good people.
Talk about it.
Oh man, you a
Because Cody's
Cody
been in
hater
No,
there
she
with
too?
who?
won't.
Seth
She won't talk
Rollins.
about it.
Cody's been in there with
She won't.
KO. Who else has Cody's been in there with? Roman.
Are we Cody hating
Oh
right
man.
now?
I don't.
No, we're not. Don't
I
worry.
mean,
We're not.
he selectively wrestles and selectively defends his titles. Like I gotta actually remember. I actually gotta pull up Wikipedia.
Nope.
Like when was the last time
Nope.
he was defending?
Nope. 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 We're done here. I have the power today. So what's going to happen is we're not going to have any Cody, any unbiased, just unobliterated Cody slander for no. Actually, it's not unbiased. It's very biased. We're not going to have it today. I'm so flustered because y'all just not going to come out of the blue and just start bashing Cody. Because now I'm gonna let y'all back in. I don't do it no more.
I
Okay.
mean, I'm a co-host. You can't mute me, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I don't care.
You'll never catch me bashing Cody. He the goat in my book.
I don't care. She knows who she is and she knows why she got muted.
If Cody's your
Whatever.
goat, you got low standards.
I didn't
That's
say
my
that,
current
but
goat right now,
look,
man. I
I ain't
stand
say he
by
was
it.
my goat, but we're not just gonna bash him.
Adrenaline left your soul.
That's my
Nah, let's go
guy.
to the next
Anyway,
one.
appreciate you, fam. Thank you, yo.
Nah,
Thanks
but
for
all due
coming in.
respect, yeah,
Come
thanks
back
for pulling up.
anytime.
Thank you.
Monet, go ahead because I know you've been waiting too.
Yeah, you've been waiting a long time. Thank you, Monet. We love you.
Hi.
Hi.
Um, man,
You been laughing?
huh?
You was laughing?
I had the giggles. I'm sorry.
I know we had you on red for like 20 minutes, but floor is
Mhm.
yours.
Um, man, I don't want to go backwards because y'all had a whole thing about Charlotte and
Go back. Go back.
okay. I'm gonna try not to swear because Charlotte Flair makes me want to swear.
Nah, go for it. Go for it.
Um,
You ain't getting fined on
He
here.
says swear. I love it.
um, um,
I can't cuss, but I'm about to cuss.
Mhm.
Go.
okay, so I'm not a big Charlotte Flair fan, but the whole thing with Tiffany Stratton, like because I'm a Tiffany fan, but like she definitely can improve in a lot of ways. I do think one thing that's really hurt Tiffany in this feud though is she's a babyface and she's not meant to play a babyface.
Mm.
It's not her strong. Her strongest suit is as a heel. That character is made to be a heel. Like, what about Tiffany Stratton gives babyface? Literally, none of it gives babyface. Her promo work, I definitely think could still use work, but I do think it definitely was better when she was a heel. I think she had more confidence. And yes, when she was a heel, there were still things that she could work on. But I think making her a face and her trying to navigate that, I think has definitely watching her the past few weeks has hurt her level of confidence when it comes to performing. I will say this about Charlotte Flair though. Charlotte Flair is not that great. She's not that great at all, and I know Mimi's probably mad at me,
She's
and
phenomenal.
Justin's probably be mad at me, but Charlotte Flair's not that great. She has one of the most manufactured careers I've ever seen in my life. Like literally. No, let me
Whoa.
explain. Let me explain.
Whoa.
No,
Oh my
let
god.
me explain. Because Charlotte
Oh.
Flair is a two-time Royal Rumble winner, and nobody wanted her to win. She's a WrestleMania main eventer, and she should have been there. She is like she's a 14-time women's champion. It's like how many of them do you remember? It's like it's only because her dad held 16 titles, and it's like they just wanted her to.
She's better than her
Wow,
dad.
No,
you're gonna
no,
really.
no. But let me finish. Charlotte Flair is
great when she wants to be. But she is not that great. She has a stale character. She
Wow.
has been stale for like 10 years. You can, but she's stale. And I think that's also one thing that's detrimental when it comes to Charlotte is like nothing affects the character. And as much as that wants, they may perceive that as her character being strong, it's not. It's detrimental to other people because nothing can like penetrate. Tiffany can say all the things in the world, but it's like it's not gonna affect Charlotte's character. So it's just like it just
You don't think she was affected on Friday?
on Friday, but that's because what Tiffany was she was saying real life shit, and like Charlotte was
No, no, no,
actually
no. It wasn't. I don't think.
no, but
What I'm saying is the crowd. Like
no, but
you don't
there's
think she
Charlotte was
was
actually rattled by
visibly.
the crowd because Charlotte doesn't like to be hated. But like the thing about like just in general, you can tell she wants to be liked. That's why they attempt the babyface thing over and over and over again. But Charlotte Flair,
Now that part is
but she's
true.
such a manufactured character. Like her career is like it's too perfect. If you get what I mean, like I forgot who said it earlier, but
You hating?
like like
Mhm.
Dang.
Hard,
like
hard,
From outside the
hard.
no, but
club.
like what I'm trying to
Dang.
say is like Charlotte Flair is like great, but like I don't think she's great enough to be booked the way that she is. Like sometimes it's detrimental to other people. I think what she did to Tiffany a couple weeks ago, like you're a veteran, and like to say like oh Tiffany won the like Charlotte won that promo like split screen thing, like it's very hard, it's very easy to win a promo battle when you know what the other person's gonna say and then you proceed to like counter every point they have to say before they can even get it out of their mouth. And clearly she was nervous. And it's like, yes, Tiffany needs to step up, and I think she could do a lot better. But also, it's like Charlotte, like you should also want to help her succeed, not necessarily coddle her, but like you should like want to have a good feud with her. Like this is also a reflection of
Damn.
But that's the
you.
thing. That's the thing. That I think bothers me a little bit because at first it didn't bother me, right? Because when you have your faves, you should have your faves, and that's it. But I think what bothers me is people really think that she's this mean girl. People really think that she doesn't, when she feuds with somebody, she wants to make herself look better even more. That's the part that I'm just like, where do you guys get that from? Why do you guys think that? That she's just this awful person because of her booking. It's because of her booking. I don't think you guys genuinely feel like she wants to not have a good feud with somebody. Because that's crazy to think, in my
Like
opinion.
I don't think she's an awful person. Like
That's
I
an
don't think
awful person for you to not want your coworker to succeed. I think
but I
that's an awful
but
person.
I think the thing with Charlotte, not that she doesn't. I don't feel like Charlotte like. I feel like it becomes a pattern, and I think that's the thing for me. It's just like this has happened countless times at this point. It's like it not that necessarily like Charlotte is trying to weigh them down, but I also don't think like I don't want to say she's not playing fair, but like because that's all I'm trying to say. But it just doesn't feel like
Did Roman play fair?
that's not what I'm trying to. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's not the thing.
Roman
Like
didn't
I'm
play
trying to.
fair, and everybody that came out of his
No,
feud
but Monet, think of it like this: like when me and Mimi have this conversation, and we've had this conversation multiple times about Charlotte. I've even told Mimi personally and to her face, like 90% of this is the booking. Because Ashley Flea, the person, I've heard so many great things about. Charlotte, the person, I've heard so many things great about. It's the booking and the way she's been booked. I don't rarely hear about backstage shit except for the Charlotte Becky thing was like a really big one going into that Survivor Series match. And that was the really major, like, oh shit. But outside of that, she doesn't make a lot of waves. And in person, I've heard a lot of lovely things. So it's booking wise
I know,
that
but that's
my
what I'm
issues
trying to say.
with.
Like I don't think she's a terrible human being. Like I don't think she's trying to like hurt her coworkers or anything. But I don't think like Charlotte is necessarily beneficial. I don't feel like she's
Mm.
beneficial really. I feel like I've felt more negative things. And like you said, yes, it is the booking, but like I felt more negative things watching Charlotte Flair and not in a sense of like, oh, Charlotte Flair is like good at her job and like she's a great heel in terms of like character. Because to me the character is just stale. Like you can change the gear, you can change the moniker all day long, but Charlotte Flair has been the same person for 10 years and like nothing about it has evolved. And I think that's also something that's like very like and I think that's kind of where I am with Charlotte. It's just like it feels like it's the same thing. You just put a different person across from her, and I never felt like it's outside of like the matches. being great because Charlotte does put on great matches. But like in terms of like character work and stuff, I don't feel like it's really benefited anybody, and I don't even feel like it's benefiting her. So like that's what I'm saying. I don't like you're right. It is the thing because I feel like it's made more people feel negative towards her and like her abilities than you probably should. And that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I feel like her career feels very manufactured
Mhm.
because I don't feel like it's been. I feel like you have all. She has all these accolades, and it's just like, what do people feel about them? There's more negative connotations behind all of them than there are positives, and I feel like that hurts other people, and I feel like because I don't feel like it's benefiting her, and because it's not benefiting her, I don't feel like what she does benefits anybody else.
Mhm.
So like I'm not trying to hate on Charlotte, but it's just like, and yes, a lot of it was Vince, and like I said, it's like clearly Vince just wanted her to match her dad, but like I think all of the, and then I think her plus also her just coming back and winning the Rumble, it just like adds to that. Like it's just like nobody wanted her to win the Rumble, and like I said, it's just all these like manufactured things. But like I don't want to hate on her, but I feel like this feud as a whole though is I feel like it's both of them. Like I feel like it's both of them. It's just a hot mess. Like I don't feel like both of them are at 100%. I don't feel like both of them are like, not saying they're not giving it their all because I feel like they're trying, but it's just like I don't feel like this is the
There's
best
no
version.
chemistry. There's no
There's
chemistry between them.
and I don't feel like it's the best version of either of them. And I feel like with Charlotte, especially since she came back after the Rumble and she got booed, I feel like even she's like kind of off because
Yeah, she's
I feel
got a
like
lot of stuff going on personally.
I know
But
I
can I add one more
Like,
layer to this? Can I add one more layer to this real
which
quick?
is worse than, I'm sorry, Justin, one thing. The stuff that she admit that she has going on and letting us know, I think should have been an indication to a lot of fans to really understand who she is and why this character feels a little bit different than the other characters from when she came back, because she outright just said it. And no, she probably isn't the best version of herself, but maybe that's the story. That she isn't the best version of who Charlotte Flair is supposed to be. She's getting all this stuff and her mind is elsewhere, and it's showing in the promo. Like, this is a different Charlotte. To me,
You're
this is
yeah,
interesting to me.
You're playing to what I was going to say, which is that's where Tiffany should have pivoted and been like, with everything going on, you're distracted, whatever. You're coming off a major knee surgery. You're coming off the same injury Seth Rollins had. It took Seth Rollins a year and a half to fully get healthy, comfortable, and everything before he's back to Seth Rollins.
Mhm.
You're trying to face me, Tiffany Stratton, the champion. I beat this person, I beat that person, I miss money in the bank, da da da. She needs to play more into the you're not 100% and I've eclipsed you since you've been gone. Then I'm going to take the digs into your personal life and be like, no, I've eclipsed you. You're gone. That knee ain't 100%. Even if you think you're 100%, you still got to get in the ring with me. And mentally is one thing when you win the Rumble, when you're tossing people over. Can you really hit that figure eight? Can you really do that moonsault?
Mhm.
Can you really do this move set? You could bedazzle that knee brace all you want, but guess what? All I see is a target because that's a knee brace with a fucking bullseye and an arrow right there to be like, all I gotta do is go attack that shit. And are you really gonna be still that Charlotte Flair, that queen, that 14-time champion? If I put you on one leg, are you still that person? And that's where Tiffany should have just attacked that angle. And you had it right there in the platter because it's sitting right there. Because once